What's going on, Moto Gamer? It's Razzles126 and I'm back with another MX Bikes video. This video is going to be on my advanced controller settings. Now I can officially say that I am a pro in this game because I made the night show in the first two Aerial ESX 450 Supercross rounds. I didn't qualify super good, and I didn't make the main events, but I can officially say that I am a pro because I made it into the night show. Now, I wouldn't be saying that I'm a pro if I just squeaked in without, with some good luck or whatever. I feel like I put in some good time and a lot of testing with the State Line HRC Honda boys, and we actually made some strides in the right direction, which is hence the reason why I'm making this video. I'm pretty excited about the competitive scene in this game right now. The racing is super tight and there's some really fast dudes. Pretty much my goal by the end of the season is to make a main event. I don't know if I will be able to do that with how much time I'm spending on school and all these other things, but I sure am going to try. But using these settings that are in this video, I think that you guys will actually get a better grasp of at least Supercross and, up your lap time. So what we'll be looking for in this video is some drastic changes from some of my old videos. I used to run a lower direct lean, I changed that, and then I also did some different things with smoothing, so look forward to seeing, me explain how that affected my riding. The track that we're riding right now is Oakland. I'm sure all of you guys have played it because it's one of the most highly downloaded tracks as soon as it came out because Aerial ESX is such a big deal. I found out that these settings work really good on tight tracks like Anaheim 1, a little better than this one, but I still think that they are solid settings. So without further ado, let's get into these controller settings that will hopefully help you get a lot faster at MX Bikes. Let's get it, boys. Alright guys, so now that you have heard my whole spiel on how I have become a quote-unquote pro in MX Bikes, I want to show you guys my controller settings. And what I mean by that is I'm going to go into the advanced lean options and I'll show you a little bit of my throttle settings. And hopefully this will help you with the Supercross aspect of the game because this could change depending on the track that you're on, especially if it's a more wide open track, especially if you go to outdoor nationals. So first things first, let's start with direct lean. Now I know in previous videos I have explained that milestone dudes or dudes who are coming from non-simulator games should have their direct lean. And what I mean by that is right here where my mouse is circling. That should be put between 40 and 50. Well, as I've gotten a little bit better at the game and after talking with some of my teammates, Hatter and Spuds, we decided that moving my direct lean up to closer to 60 is going to help me be more precise. So I actually moved it up to 60 and then found that dropping it down, 1% at a time, I started to get a little more control of my bike in game. Now, 57 direct lean is going to lift the bike up a little bit faster, yet I still have to kind of bring it back up on my own, but not nearly as much as if I was on 40. I also decided to check combined brakes and moved my minimum to 10 and my maximum to 100%. Now, I don't really suggest running combined brakes because if you're trying to brake tap, you still have to kind of use a separate button to just use your rear brake, but that is in the air so you have a little more time, so it's actually not that detrimental. But I decided to use combined brakes because in Supercross there's so much going on that you have to have full control or full grasp of both the sticks and everything all at the same time in Supercross because it comes so fast. Every corner is right there. Coming out of the whoops, coming into a 90-degree corner before the whoops, out of a double or something like that, and you don't have time to hit the rear brake or just the front brake separately, so I decided to combine the brakes. I don't really like it, but it has worked for me, and it did help me make, the heats or whatever in the two Aerial ESX rounds that I did. Moving into the advanced portion, we're going to hit this drop-down arrow, and we're going to select lean. Starting out with dead zone, this is 100% your controller dictated. Mine, I don't even have to touch my stick and I get stick drift, so I have to run a higher dead zone. I've actually dabbled in 10 and I didn't really notice a difference, but I dropped it down to 9 thinking maybe I'd be able to get more precision. That's up to your controller. Anywhere from 4 to 10 is not that bad of a range. You just play with that, depending on if your controller's old or new. Going into linearity, I move the linearity up because 100 means linear is direct control. That is directly whatever your stick is doing is what's happening. But I moved it up a little bit more to kind of, I don't know, it kind of just makes it feel like I have just a little bit more control in the smaller movements of my stick, if that makes sense. Don't really know how to explain this any more than that. Just give it a try. I know people sometimes run it at 150, which doesn't really work out for me, but I also found that 135 or in the 130 area is better than 110 or 108 or whatever what I used to run. So give that a try. Moving into one of the more talked about concepts of your advanced settings is the smoothing portion. I always thought that smoothing, the lower you can get it, the better control you would have because you have, you've gained that control of your bike to where you don't need smoothing. You don't, you can do it with your thumbstick. Well, I found out that smoothing press on 50 is actually a lot better. I know some people even run it at 60. Some people run it even higher than that, which is crazy to me. But it pretty much just kind of gives you that little buffer whenever you first hit your stick, that it doesn't just flop you over. The release is at 20. That's up to you. You can drop it at 0 if you want. You're just going to have no smoothing back. So whenever you do correct it, say your direct lean is a little bit lower than mine right now, it will come up pretty quick and snappy. And then my gain is at 92.2 because I noticed that whenever I'm going through corners on Supercross, I have to hold the stick pretty hard. And if I have it any higher than that, I tuck the front end a lot. And then also make sure that your force feedback is not enabled and as low as it can go no matter what. Rumble, if you want, you can leave it on. It's up to you. Now, if we click the advanced section again and go to throttle, this is where everything changed for me. I was a firm believer in having smoothing on for the throttle, but I changed it and I noticed that I got a lot faster. I got a lot more, not a lot more traction. I would say a lot more throttle response and power to the ground. If you can control your throttle to where you are not spinning, you will get more feedback to the ground. I promise you that. So we're not going to check smoothing. We're going to turn it off. And if you do want to have smoothing because you're still struggling with looping out or breaking the rear tire loose and losing traction, click the smoothing and go like no more than 15 max. I don't know what it is. It will make you faster. If you're not looking to get faster, you're just looking to get more consistent in Supercross, then yeah, turn the smoothing up. But just know that you might not be able to get some of those triple ins or even triples out of a like double in a section that you see the pros doing. So with smoothing off, you're not going to have any press or release. And then my gain is all the way down at 0. If you turn your gain up, good luck keeping that 450, especially underneath of you. Moving into the brake. The brake I didn't really change too much on, but I did put a smoothing of 30. My gain is at 84.7 because, well, I'm just going to show you guys right now. I will fully admit that on simulation, I am using brake help. I know people are going to be like, oh, pros are using assist. Well, as you can see, I'm not using lean help and all that stuff. Shift help and automatic clutch, almost everybody's running it, and automatic tire change. Let's be honest, everybody runs that too. But brake help is the only one that I do run, and the reason why is because I'm using combined brakes, and that kind of goes back into the 100% thing. It's just something that I found that works for me, and the assists are in the game, and we don't know who's using them and who's not. So I figured I'm going to dabble in brake help because I keep tucking the front end. So if you want to use it, go ahead. If you want to be a diehard simulation guy, don't use it. Just roast me in the comments. Tell me how much I suck. That's all good. And going back into the gain on that is 84.7 because of the brake help. It does help a lot. Now clicking the advanced bar again and going to rear brake, I have a smoothing of 70 and a gain of 60. And the reason why I did this is because whenever I am running combined brakes and I pull in the left trigger per se to brake into a corner, I don't want my rear end locking up. Putting a press of 70 and dropping the gain down to 60 will keep your rear end from locking up whenever you have combined brakes. Unless you completely slam them, then you will notice it a little bit. But most of the time, you're dragging the front brake rather than slamming on it anyways to keep it from tucking. I did move my linearity up to 110, but this, honestly, I didn't really notice a difference because it's rear brake. So don't worry about that. The biggest thing you need to worry about is your gain, so that way you don't get that rear end locking. And I promise you, If you try this out, it will help you a bunch. That's if you're running combined brakes. If not, you can maybe jump it up a little bit. It's up to you. Moving on and clicking the advanced tab again, the clutch is pretty much all the same. I don't know why I have a smoothing press of 50. I don't even use the clutch, but I mean, sure, try it. I don't know. It's working for me, but I don't use the clutch because I don't think anybody does in this game because the shifting in MX bikes could be better. And moving into the rider forward and backwards lean, I actually moved my gain up to 124 to get more seat bounce. You can try it if you like it. If not, drop it down to 100 or even drop it lower. That's fine. But I also have it up to 124 because I like doing sweet turn-ups and oppo whips, and this helps a ton. So give that a try. And then also moving into the left and right lean, I turn my gain up just a little bit just to get a little more snappy on the face of the jumps, just in case I need to do a little fix in the air or something. Something that just helped me, and you guys might benefit from it as well. And then one other thing that I saw in other videos of pros, I'll shout out Linz right here. You can go check him out on YouTube. I know that anybody that's watching this knows Linz. He did do a setup video where he went to input 2 and actually clicked preload on the gearbox. I don't actually know what it does. If anybody does, please drop it in the comments below. I'd love to know, but it doesn't really tell you. So I'd like to know. I clicked it. I have it on. I know Linz has it on. I'm sure other people have it on. And I think some of the teammates that I ride with have had it on ever since. I don't know if it's helped me or not, but it's something that I did check. So if you're trying to follow this video to a T, that's what I did. Now that you have seen my new controller setup and everything and all the lean kind of advanced controls that I did, hopefully it helps you in Supercross and or just in the rest of the game. And if you're watching this and you made it to the end, you're probably wondering, why is Razzles on 556? Well, that is my professional number for the Aerial SX series. I picked this number because they didn't have 126 at the time. Come to find out, I was able to pick it, but I stuck with this because Madcap made these sick bikes and gear. I picked 556 because obviously a lot of you know I have a military background and I really enjoy shooting guns and stuff and going to the range and everything, and 556 is one of my favorite calibers to shoot. So I just thought it was fitting for me having a military background, and I think it looks really sick on the bike. Alright guys, so that's going to be it for this video. I know it was short and it's pretty simple, but if it does help you, go ahead and drop a like on this video and go ahead and comment if your lap time's dropped or anything. This is the Oakland round, the Aerial ESX 2022 championship version. It is a very sick track. It was very tough to race on. I had some troubles in the heats and the LCQ. Well, you probably know how that went. But if you really enjoyed it and you like this video, drop a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one.